My name is Rand Campbell, and this is Flat Out Elected. So recently, I did a video speaking about a person that I knew here in the Dominican that was recently murdered. And I'm going to give you an update on it, but I'm also going to give you a discernment that the Lord gave me in respects to the entire situation. So my friend Roy, who lived here in Puerto Plata, he hailed from Holland. He was Dutch. And he had married a very young woman of the age of 22, which, could already be an issue. With that being said, I believe that he did love her. He certainly loved her child, of which was not his. The child was in around the age 4. Now, why this particular story really, really affects me is because my father was murdered when I was 4 years old. So it wouldn't take a lot to understand how it would resonate with me personally. So let me give you the update on what has happened. So it turns out that, yes, in fact, he was murdered. He was shot to death on the streets near his home. Now, it gets really, really ridiculous when you get to understand how this all came to be. Now, it was planned and orchestrated to look like a robbery. And in a lot of ways it was. But it wasn't just a random robbery. It was a planned robbery orchestrated by his 22-year-old wife, who has recently been charged, along with 2 of the gunmen. And again, this resonates with me greatly because it was my mother who took my father's life. So you can see where this story resonates with me. I knew both the woman and the man. I also had met the child on several occasions. And I remember Roy had said to me once in a conversation that he didn't want to discipline the child too much because he didn't want to break the child's spirit. Ironically, the one thing that he wanted to protect, he couldn't. Because when you suffer something like this as a child, and I'm speaking from experience, your spirit does get broken. Your soul does get altered. Your mind does get changed. Everything changes. So that little boy, I can promise you, is going to suffer through a life of distrust. If at the very least anything, it will be most certainly a life of distrust. So it turns out that the mother, the 22-year-old woman, orchestrated and planned out his murder, only to get caught in the end, and is now sitting in prison and is most likely going to be doing a minimum of 20 years, according to Dominican law. What's ironic is that he gave her a beautiful life. I mean, like, she really had, when you seen them in public, they had a nice car, they had a nice home, they dressed nice, they ate in the finest restaurants. He gave her a life that she never had. She came from poverty. And he offered her, in marrying her, a life that was very worldly. And I want to make this very clear. He was an atheist. Although she wore a cross, again, we could get into the discussion about people that claim to be Christians that most certainly are not seeking righteousness in God. And righteousness means to be right with God. And so wearing a cross in no way makes you a Christian. And clearly somebody that could have so much hate in their heart as to orchestrate or plan out the death of another human being most certainly couldn't have the love of God in them. But let me get into this story. So here she is, 22 years old, obviously not very educated, obviously very, very immature. And she thinks in her mind that killing her husband would be a good idea. As a matter of fact, she even stole the money to pay for the assassins to commit the murder. She paid them money that she stole from her husband. So in the end, he actually is the guy that paid for his own murder. Ay, ay, ay. And my heart is so heavy for all of them. I mean, my heart is heavy for Roy, who lost his life, obviously. My heart is really, really heavy for that little boy because he's a child. And I've experienced at the same age what he is now experiencing. So again, it resonates with me very, very deeply. And I actually feel for her, for the woman, for the 22-year-old woman who thought it right to plan out the murder of her husband, and who is now going to be spending the larger part of her life behind bars in a Dominican prison. We're not talking about a prison in America where, it's livable. We're talking about Dominican conditions, and I have spoken in Dominican prisons. I know what the circumstances are there. I know what the environment in a Dominican prison looks like. I have spoken in a Dominican prison. So I know that her next 20, 30, whatever it is, years of life are going to be absolutely horrific. And I also know the brokenness of humanity. I understand the struggle and the results of lack of wisdom at the age of 22. I understand, the hardened heart of humanity, because we come across it so often as a Christian with a voice, not only here on the internet, but I speak about the Lord and I speak about truths publicly. And I get a lot of backlash and a lot of insult and a lot of snarky remarks, which I handle quite well, to be honest with you. But I feel for her, too, because she needs God. She needs God. And I don't know that she knows this, and I don't know that she doesn't know that she's truly not a Christian as she wears her cross and gives a symbolism of Christianity. I don't know that she doesn't know that she is not saved. She couldn't possibly be saved. She's certainly not righteous with God. She is not standing right in the presence of God. And so I pray for her deeply. I pray for her. I pray for that little boy. I can't say it enough. My heart is so broken over this entire situation. I went down yesterday to a memorial and spoke about, my beliefs and what I feel about this situation. I shared a bit of my testimony. I donated money to help with his burial. It is absolutely horrific and senseless the more and more I think about it. And I just have to give it to God and let Him handle this entire situation. What is done is done. And she is going to suffer the consequences of this absolutely senseless act. It is just crazy. But I prayed on it, and the Lord showed me something. He showed me how much people love this world and how much people desire the things of this world, the depths of greed. So much so in that they are willing to sacrifice human life for self. The same way this world is sacrificing Jesus Christ, the same way this world desires all the things in and of this world, they are willing to sacrifice Christ in their life, to remove Christ, to kill Christ in their lives in order to live this life and receive and pull into their lives as much as their hearts desire. Their desire to succeed and to have the things in this world hold more value than the value of life. We see this in the decision for people to have abortions. They don't want their lives changed, so they're more willing to sacrifice the life of a child so that they can continue on in their lives with what they believe to be freedom, when in fact it's not. They're willing to sacrifice life to receive the things in and of this world. The Lord showed me that that's exactly what it was, that she was willing to sacrifice a life in order to achieve what she thought was going to be success in this world. Now, you have to understand, in a third world country, there is a lot of poverty, there is a lot of struggle. And to try to think in their terms, to try to understand what that is in their terms, especially when they're being indoctrinated with American culture through music and through movies. They're constantly being told that it's all about money, and it's all about sex, and it's all about riches and fame and getting what you can out of this world. And they're being indoctrinated with this understanding. This is what is being brought into these third world countries. And there is less hope for them to have those things than there is in America. At least in America, there is an opportunity to have worldly success without taking a life. Although that happens in America as well. We're all well aware of that. But here in a third world country, they see no hope for the success talked about in American music, for the success talked about in American television and American movies. And especially when they see American tourists or tourists from any country that is doing well come into their country and show the successes that they have earned or have received in their lives. It's right in their faces. They want it. They want a piece of it. Their best hope is to hook up with somebody here that comes as a tourist that has money so that they can live a life better than they know. And that's a part of, when I talk about with Eve, how she was deceived not by what was ugly or not by what was dark. She was deceived by that which was pleasing to the eye. And so these Dominican women, when they see what they believe to be a future for themselves in a foreigner that may have money, that certainly looks like they have money, they're willing to do almost anything to have that because it's pleasing to their eye. They're willing to sacrifice their morals. They're willing to sacrifice God. They're willing to sacrifice their belief systems. And in some cases, they're willing to sacrifice life to receive these things. And that's exactly what we are seeing unfold before our eyes here in this world. People are so sold on the ways of this world. They are so sold on materialistic things and fame and fortune and power. They're so hungry for it that the only thing they see in the way of that is a relationship with God. Because it's anti-scriptural to be in and of this world. And so they remove God, and they have a clear path to what they believe will bring them peace and joy in the success of the things in and of this world. So as this 22-year-old woman decides to take the life of her husband in the hopes of possibly inheriting or receiving all of the things that he had, which backfired on her, thank God. The people of this world are sacrificing Christ. They are sacrificing God. They are sacrificing a relationship with their Creator to move Him out of the way so that they will have a clear path to receiving their desires here in this world. It's all about sacrifice. It's all about what are you willing to sacrifice in this life in order to achieve your desires for the things in and of this world. Most people start with morals. They're willing to sacrifice their morals. They're willing to sacrifice a relationship with God, their Creator. Many people are willing to sacrifice truth. They don't care about truth. They don't care that they're being deceived as long as they receive. They sacrifice the fact that they're being deceived in order for them to reach into this world with a soul of which is lost and a spirit of which is dead, in order to receive the things that they desire in their hearts in this world. It's all about sacrifice. People are sacrificing the most important things for the things that are so temporal, so here today and gone tomorrow. They're sacrificing life for this world. This is why God said, love not the world or the things of this world. This is why God said, he who loves this world does not have the love of the Father within him. Because if you have the love of Christ within you, there is nothing about this world that would have you sacrifice Christ, a relationship with God, for anything in and of this world. This world is lost. The people of this world are so lost. They think they have a good beat on life. They think they understand what's going on. They think it's all about their own personal joy and happiness. They think it's all about stature and how people look at them and how people see them, without understanding that they're going to stand before their Creator, and it is how He sees you in the end that's going to matter. And you have to be righteous in front of God. And righteous means to be right with God. You cannot be right with God if this world has you divided. You cannot be right with God if you are in and of the ways of this world. You cannot be the rope in a tug of war between your relationship with God and your insidious desires for the ways of this world. Jesus Christ said you cannot serve two masters. Jesus Christ said a house divided cannot stand. We're in serious, serious times. And what I'm telling you is that this world is going to pull you in so deep that you'll lose sight of the possibility of a strong and powerful and deeply meaningful relationship with God if you do not get right with God. This world is insidious. It is an absolute deception. Everything that you think this world can give you in order to satisfy your soul cannot give life to your spirit. Your spirit is dead if you love the things of this world, and the only way your spirit can be given life is through Jesus Christ. He is the truth and He is the life. Your desires for this world are going to victimize you. They're going to cause you to victimize others. You might not see it coming. You might think that you have a good moral compass and that you have control over your desires for this world. But what I'm telling you is that a time is going to come when having your desires met to this world are going to be as simple as you choose Christ or you choose the world. And if you choose Christ, you will be cut off from the ways of this world. And I don't know that there are that many people that can deal with that. I don't know that there are that many people that can actually stand righteous in God when the world tells them they are not to do that. When they are given the option of Christ or the world. And this world, make no mistake about it, the God of this world is Satan. And we are watching in these days the Antichrist being ushered in. We are literally living in a satanic ritual, a beast system that is exposing itself. And a very, very serious decision is going to stand before you one day. And I believe that decision is not far from the future. I believe that that decision is going to be in front of you very, very soon in these days. Don't kill Christ. Don't kill your relationship. Don't sacrifice a relationship with your Creator for the things in and of this world. This world cannot save you. It is not what your spirit seeks in order to be given life. The only way your spirit can be given life and that you would be a true believer in Christ and that you would be able to take God at His word and trust him, believe in him, is through Jesus Christ. He said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. There is no S on way. There's no ways to the Father. Jesus Christ is truly the only way to the Father, period. I hope this message resonated with you and brought you closer to an understanding of why we are not to be in and of this world, why the desires of this world can drag us down a very dark path, and why in the very near future, if you are not righteous with God, if you are not standing right in your heart, right in your mind, anew, sanctified, renewed in your mind, and fully connected to your Creator, if you are not right there in the very near future, this world is going to take everything out of you and it's going to do everything in its power to pull you into the darkness of sacrificing Christ in your own life. I ask that God sincerely blesses you with this message. My heart is heavy today. My heart is heavy for that boy, and my heart is heavy for that woman who is going to sit in prison like my mother did for many, many, many years. And I feel for that. I honestly feel for that. I hope God reaches her, and I hope God softens her, and I hope God speaks to her, and I hope that she is able to get on her knees, put her face to the floor, and ask God's forgiveness. And I sincerely pray that God puts people in that little boy's life that can guide him and bring him through this life, that he would not have the hurt and the distrust that I went through in my life. If God sincerely blessed you with this message, please, 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 please give the glory to him. Give the glory to God. Now, I don't need you to thumb up this video. I don't need you to comment. I don't need you to become a Patreon. You should, but you don't have to. I don't need you to hit the donate button to help others, although you should. I don't need you to do anything. You know what I need you to do with this video? I need you to share it with somebody that you love that is distant from God. I need you to share this video with somebody that you think needs to hear this message. If you do that, I promise you, God is going to bless this message with that person. God is going to pierce their heart. If you share this message with somebody that you truly love and that you worry about their soul, that you mourn for the death of their spirit, that they would be able to come to the gospel and understand that Jesus Christ truly loves them. If you share this with people that need this message, I promise you, God is going to bless you with peace and joy. You guys stay blessed. I sincerely hope that God blesses you guys. You guys take care of yourselves. I love, 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 love. Listen to me now. I love, 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 love you guys. You guys take care of yourselves.
Is when you talking to the principalities and reminding the powers and telling them who you are and what's going to happen. That's when you get an attitude. We have access to God with boldness and confidence. We can go boldly to the throne of God. We can go confidently to him. But what does the devil do? He keeps bringing up your past. He keeps bringing up your failures. He keeps bringing up your shortcomings. I'm not going to God on the basis of my righteousness, not my righteousness. I'm going on the basis of his righteousness and who he